Baseball's back. I don't know about you guys. I'm excited. Baseball's back.
I'm actually
And
not excited.
You're not excited? Well, that's too bad. Because I'm very excited. Baseball is back. The Dugout Talk podcast is back. And so today we will be just talking about everything that is MLB baseball in 2025, talking about the entire offseason, every single team, all 30. We talk about our predictions for the divisions, for the playoffs potentially, and maybe if we have time, we may even get into discussion on MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year potential awards as well. So I want to, first of all, to get us going, I want to welcome in our brand new co-hosts, TJ and
Welcoming
Grady.
What's up, man? It's
Welcome,
good to be
Grady.
here. I love
yeah.
baseball, so I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, so if y'all just want to give us a little introduction, favorite teams, why you love baseball, just to get us started here before we get into our actual topic.
You want to go first, TJ?
Yeah, Trevor Jackson, 5-tool prospect out of Washington, center fielder. Out here today, switch hitter. I made sure to bring this. This is my 34-36 bat. Got some nice lizard skin on there for us. Here to have a good time. I hate the Seattle Mariners. Diehard, grew up watching them, idolizing Freddie Garcia, Ichiro Suzuki, Joel Pinheiro, and I have a pretty substantial ball knowledge dating back to World War I. So I like baseball.
Alrighty, well, my name's Grady Williams. I'm a diehard Mets fan. Go Mets.
Very sorry for you, my friend.
Biggest free agent signing of all time, right here. Let's go. Yep. We're gonna win the NL East. We're gonna smack up on the Phillies and the Braves. I love talking baseball with my friends, and I love talking baseball in general. So happy to be here. Happy to express my ball knowledge. And just let's get into it. I love baseball. Let's go.
Yeah. Like I said, this is the first episode of the year. I'll just go ahead and reintroduce myself. Evan Stovall, creator here of the Dugout Talk podcast. So excited just to get to do this, talk ball with you guys. I'm a Rangers guy. I'm a Braves guy. Just growing up loving baseball. I just love every aspect of the game. It's just I love thinking, and baseball is the thinking man's game. It's a great sport. I love it. It teaches you how to fail and succeed with grace. It's the best sport ever created. Oh, we're going to go division by division. We're going to work AL, then NL. We're going to go east to west, then west back to east. So we're going to start with the AL East and finish with the NL East. And so let's just start with the reigning American League champions, the New York Yankees.
The best team in New York?
I mean, obviously, they had a pretty good offseason. They were active, I'd say. Some significant ones. I mean, they picked up Fried, which I think, looking at that contract, is very risky. I think it was a risky signing, especially when it comes to the length of the contract. He's not getting any younger, and he has injury history. So when you're signing an older, not older. Like for a pitcher, I guess he's in the middle of that.
Yeah, and to be fair, what modern pitcher doesn't have injury history?
It's a good point. But when you're signing, I feel outside of obviously the new Japanese guys coming up, I don't think there's a pitcher in the league, in my opinion, besides Skeens is out of the question, obviously, but besides him and the Japanese guys, I don't think there's a pitcher in the league that deserves that long of a contract, especially because every pitcher has injury problems right now, so you're not gonna it's no guarantee that they'll be there for 8 years. So spending the money for an 8-year deal, it's risky, because if he's he has a phenomenal season, the next season he's injured, Tommy John out for a season, it's a epidemic with pitchers in in the majors right now. So I think that contract's risky. But I mean, Cody Bellinger, I'm a big Belly guy.
Huge Belly guy.
I loved him on the Dodgers. So him now, like, he's hitting amazing. He's hitting 465 with a 1.3 or with a 1,300 OPS in the spring. Like, that's incredible. I think.
I feel like a third of his contract is just for the vibes alone.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, you don't sign a generational fielder, maybe one of the best fielders to play the game of baseball in the 21st century. Guy can play the entire outfield, and he could put in a shift at first base while being an athletic phenom. Like, the guy could have played college basketball if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I mix in, he's good for vibes. Like, I think that's incredible for the Yankees, who, I mean, their leader, their captains are Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole, two guys who are charisma vacuums. So you kind of need a guy like Cody Bellinger, who's going to be a great player, but is also going to let guys breathe a little bit. And I think that's where the Yankees really lost it in the World Series, is they knew that they were the underdogs. They walked in as the underdogs, and they maintained that mentality the entire time without a guy like Bellinger cracking a joke when they're up 5-0 going into a fifth inning, and then they all collapse, you know? So I think Belly's going to be sick. They've always had a gaping hole at first since Mark Teixeira hung up the cleats. So if Bellinger's playing center field, if he's playing first base, whatever he's doing, I think that he's a bigger impact than just his baseball bat. I think he's going to be very sick for them.
I do think, though, that the bat will help, especially in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
With that short right field fence, he's going to hit.
It says 314. That is 296.
I think he'll have well over 30 bombs this year. I'm calling it. Just saying.
Genuinely, I know Evan said we're going to wait till later, but MVP. That's my prediction. Is Cody Bellinger.
Okay.
Cody Bellinger returning to that form would be crazy. Yeah, I think
there's
the Yankees,
no reason he can't hit 40 bombs.
No, there's zero reason he can't at Yankee Stadium. Absolutely.
It's just going to be hard with his teammate. You know, still in that league, it's going to be hard with Judge there.
Yeah.
I think that's his only competition, though.
AL.
It's a good
dude,
dark
there's
horse.
so many just insanely good players in the league right now. It's crazy. But I feel like with the Yankees, the World Series, like you said, they felt like the underdogs. And I think at the end of the day, they looked like a really good team. But truly, when you really look at it, like, retrospectively, they were they might have just been huge fakers. I think they were. I'd say they were fakers to a certain extent. They weren't bad, but let's be real. If they had to play the Padres in the DS, the Padres would have whooped them.
I think they were a top-heavy team, like we were talking about earlier with the Braves.
As soon as you saw fucking Volpe's coming up in the next inning, you're like, cool, I can go take a But I like that you mentioned the Padres, because I genuinely felt that the Padres were essentially the Yankees of the NL, in the sense that they had a very solid 1 through 4. They had a very solid first 3 guys in the starting rotation, and that was about it.
Yeah.
5 through 9, you're lucky if you get 2 guys on base, and then out the bullpen, you're holding your breath. But that's one thing I wanted to mention with the Yankees. We're forgetting that they had the best reliever in the entire playoffs last year. Luke Weaver, this is his time to... I want to say it's a contract year for him. It's his time to shine. Like, he's going to get the reins as the closer. He was shut down the entire postseason. And he's not even throwing anything crazy. I think he's just a fastball, curveball, changeup guy. But he was just
stuff, though.
So dominant in the playoffs. Yeah. So
yeah.
Clay Holmes obviously fell off, plus Ratio. He's not with them anymore. But I think that they're solid with Weaver. Genuinely, I think.
Clay Holmes.
They got Devin Williams. They got Devin Williams too.
Clay Holmes, NL Cy Young dark
relievers.
horse. Am I crazy for saying Clay Holmes NL Cy Young dark horse?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
No, I am not.
You're not just crazy. You're
Look
insane.
at the
for
spring
it.
numbers. Look at the spring numbers.
Spring numbers mean almost
Spring
nothing.
numbers get printed out on toilet paper for a reason.
bro. Like,
You know, Jared
He's-
Kelenic, spring training legend.
oh, that guy's a bust. Didn't he
Any
start
other-
with the Mariners?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, dude, I loved him, but he was God, like the fans fucking loved him, but he was obviously he had
if I'm
higher
mistaken,
expectations and aspirations in the Mariners, so we
Did
had to
he
get rid
not
of him.
get drafted by the Mets?
He did, yeah. Then traded for Robinson Cano and Edwin
That's
Diaz.
who it was. Yes, that's right. So thank God we got
The
rid
Mets
of him.
have just a great eye for talent, honestly.
Ah, yes.
You
Atlanta
really do.
Braves, Robinson Cano.
I wanna say to that point, great eye for talent, dude. I mean, we'll talk about his team here in a little bit, but PCA, if he can find the bat,
Man, to wrap up the Yankees though and the eye for talent, as soon as the draft comes around, I'm always curious when that next great Yankee is going to come around. And genuinely, I just do not see that with Hassan Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, and whoever they have in their farm system. I think that the Yankees farm system is so cooked that they are kind of reverting to, all right, we have to buy players. And that's a fine system, but I mean, look at the last however many players that they've went out and bought. You know, you have your Josh Donaldsons, you have your rentals like Andrew Benintendi, Juan Soto, man. Granted, Juan Soto had one of the best years of his entire career, went out and got paid, God bless him. But I just think that the Yankees, they don't have many premier years left with a Cole, a Judge, you know. 3-4 years, I think the Yankees are maybe getting third, fourth place in the East, but this is really this is it. Like, and they have comp. I'm sure the next team that we're going to talk about who spent crazy is seeing that and saying, okay, like, we're going to go get these now.
Yeah, and like, it's really unfortunate to see because, again, like I said, I felt like they were fakers. They had a bunch of gaping holes. Truly, that it didn't. You don't like. I feel like they didn't recognize that. But the truth is when you look, it's like this was not the kind of super team that they think that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they went out and got Bellinger. They got Fried. They re-signed Cole. They got Devin Williams. They got Paul Goldschmidt. Twilight of his career, but he could DH, right? Like,
Franz Schmidt.
like here's the thing. But and that's a good thing, and I'm really like they needed to do that, and they went out and did that. They had a great offense. Without Cole saying,
They're still missing a second baseman. They really have a gaping hole in the outfield. They're missing I'd say a solid outfielder.
who the Yankees?
Giancarlo Stanton can't play 162 even as a DH.
I think
Their
that
catcher
outfield.
Austin Wells sucks. I'll say it. He sucks.
Really?
I think he's awful. I think in the field he's
defensively
he's miserable in the
bad.
field. He's no Higashioka. And I'm sorry, but like if you're the New York goddamn Yankees, you have to get 250 out of your catcher. You have to. And if your catcher is hitting in the 5-hole behind a Glaber, Juan Soto, Judge, Stanton, and then you have your catcher right there who's hitting 161 in the postseason, like that's just not going to do it. That's not going to cut it. I think God bless the Mariners for re-signing Cal Raleigh, because the Yankees, I feel, are looking for that long-term catcher spot because it's the backbone of your team. That is your 5-hole. That is your in-the-field captain that's letting people know. And they've had Gary Sanchez, Higashioka, and now Austin Wells, I think, is just the drizzling shit. I think that there's a lot of black holes in their field that they did try and cover up with pitching. So, I mean, I like that you think that they had a great offseason. I'm glad that they didn't do what they could have done, if that makes sense. Because I think that they could have put out another $40 million in payroll picked up a solid second baseman, picked up an everyday DH, and
I think they were unwilling to spend the money, and that's going to cost them. Because I think the next team that
Exactly.
we're going to talk about, hot take, is going to win that division.
I do maybe.
I'm going to say it here. I think the Boston Red Sox, they came in to the offseason with a plan, boost their pitching. They did that immediately. They got their pitching sealed. They got Bueller, and they got Crochet, the 1-2 punch. I think Bueller's going to come back, have a bounce back season, do his thing. I think Crochet probably, if Tarek Skubal doesn't absolutely go crazy and get a triple crown again, I think Crochet gives him a run for his money on the AL Cy Young. I think once they did that, they were like, okay, let's go get a position player. Let's make a splash. And then they went out and got Bregman. I mean, I don't think there's...
too.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a better offseason besides, obviously, the Dodgers, the billionaire Dodgers. I don't think there was a better offseason. And that's coming from...
They're solid.
That's coming from a Mets fan. I think that offseason, even though they signed three or four significant players, that team on paper after this offseason is looking very scary.
The Red Sox took themselves from a team that was like, what are we doing here? We're the freaking Red Sox. We're supposed to be one of the most we're like this legendary, prestigious franchise that's supposed to be amazing, right? We're supposed to be the team that's going tap for tap attacking the Dodgers, right? We were World Series champions just less than a decade ago. We had this amazing dynasty. What happened? And then finally this year they figured themselves out. They went out and they said, we have a solid base. We need to fill these holes, and they went out and filled them.
They re-identified.
If Bueller doesn't come back, they've still got Brian Bayo. They've got an amazing rotation. They went out and got Chapman. He may be in his final years. He can still throw gas. I still think he's solid. He may not be what he used to. He may not be like what he was with the Yankees. He's still a solid bullpen piece. And so I think this team is scary. I mean, obviously you've got the issue of okay, how do we manage what are we doing with Devers and Bregman? You got that whole issue of who's going to play the field where. But dude, this team is good. They did a lot. They did everything right, I feel like. I don't feel like there's anything where I'm necessarily disappointed about it. They did a great job. Props to the Red Sox organization. They did an amazing job, and I think that they are going to be back to being that scary competitive team again.
I think they re-identified themselves. I think they lost it for a little bit. Last couple of years they weren't the Red Sox. They were just some crappy team in the AL East. I think after this offseason the developing that they've been doing the last 2-3 years, they found a star in Duran. They still have the first baseman, I'm blanking on his name.
Tristan?
Yeah, Tristan Casas. He's a power hitting demon. I think they re-identified themselves as the Boston Red Sox again, and I think that's going to take them far.
System as well.
Oh yeah,
they got some of the best prospects right now, and it's dude,
Roman Anthony, look out for that kid.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, come August, you may see some of those guys, get brought up, start doing stuff maybe, bro.
Why not?
This could be not just a good team on paper. This could be a deep team as well.
This could be the number one team in the AL.
It very well could be. It could be.
It's hard not to think that now that with if
I've got my number one team set in stone in cement. The cement is dry for me.
I'll be happy to hear it once we get to them.
Absolutely. I think the Red Sox are going to be solid. I think they're going to win 90 games, but it's going to be a 90.
You think that you think a team that wins 90 games in the AL at this very moment, a team that wins 90 games isn't going to get number one?
Yeah, because I think that there's a team getting 100.
Really? Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I'm excited to hear that now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it's probably going to be a team that wins 100 for a while.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Baltimore Orioles.
100 wins for a while. 100 wins for a while.
Who, the Orioles?
This is my best team in the absolutely.
Wow. With that pitching staff?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, this is very for me, this team is very much reminiscent of like a this would be a early 2010s Giants, except inverted. Where the Giants, they needed to win games 1-0, 2-0, 3-1, 3-2 because they had that pitching staff to rely on. I think that these guys are going to win games 7-5, 8-6. As long as they can get to the 8th or ninth and Bautista can give them 4 to 5 outs, I think that these guys are so solid. Granted, they lost Burns, right? But I think that they are so solid. I think that there's not a better player in baseball right now than Gunnar Henderson. I think hands down, I think he is the best at his position, better than anybody else is at their position.
What about Bobby Witt?
I love Bobby Witt. I just like Gunnar Henderson.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
someone got on
I'm
me
a
for
Bobby Witt
posting.
loyalist.
Someone got on me for posting. It was 7 days until the best shortstop in the league takes the field, and I posted Gunnar Henderson. And former co-host Caleb Haig said, "That's not that's not Bobby Witt." I'm like, hey, I was like,
I
look,
think he's right.
Gunnar Henderson's hitting 50 bombs this year.
Dude, Gunnar Henderson is. Dude,
Yeah,
Gunnar
but Bobby
Henderson
Witt's
has
hitting
power.
40 and hitting 320 and having a 1,200 OPS and 120 RBIs. He's literally doing everything.
Yeah, on a team that is going to, at most, make a run to the DS is gonna do decent in the DS at most.
At most.
I think that okay.
Their division is not very good. All they've really got to I forget. The AL Central's got some good teams. Look,
I really
the
don't-
Tigers
I
be
really
competitive.
don't.
The Guardians be competitive. Look, the AL Central is always a mess. It's always like super even for most of the season. It's he's like, look, but at the end of the day, none of those teams are as star-studded as some of the teams that we have in the East and West divisions in the AL and the NL. This is true.
We just talked about the
never
Red
has
Sox
ultra-star
too,
teams.
and the Orioles just picked up one of their better hitters from last year. Very cheap too. They snagged 3 years of Tyler O'Neill, so
That's true.
they got a really nice 1 through 8.
Yeah, dude.
You know.
Plus they've still got a great farm system from all those years of sucking it up.
Absolutely. If Jackson Holiday is 10% better than he was last year, you'll take it.
I will say this. I can get around the fact that they might win 100 games if and only if Grayson Rodriguez does his thing and has a sub 3, maybe sub 2.5 ERA, 200 strikeout. Like if he puts up a Cy Young caliber season, I could get around the Orioles winning 100 games.
Honestly,
Charlie Morton could too.
I see this. I agree with this.
He's like
I see
50.
this as last year's Arizona Diamondbacks potentially, where this team, because the Arizona Diamondbacks last year had the best offense, or at least in terms of runs scored, had the best offense in the league, scored the most runs, didn't make the playoffs because they couldn't because they just couldn't hold on to leads. But I think very well this could be a team where it's like, screw having good pitching. Because we'll just go out and put 15 runs up on you in the first 4 innings, and it doesn't matter anymore. Because our offense is just that good.
Yeah, and honestly, these guys could be very big buyers if...
At the deadline.
Yeah.
Low key.
If, say, a Rangers, they want to offload everyone's favorite pitcher.
Honestly, I think I think the Orioles would be a good landing spot for a pitcher that's been on the trade market recently and for a while. If my Mets don't get Dylan Cease, I think the Orioles could very well go out and get him with a lot of the prospects they have.
Dylan Cease could, dude. If the Orioles were to get Dylan Cease,
that would solidify the rotation.
That could change that whole division. Honestly,
Absolutely.
it completely changed the way I see the division.
When you look at it right now, Zach Eflin, he's suitable. He's nothing special, but he gets the job done. I think Grayson Rodriguez, he has the potential to be that guy. Kyle Bradish, also, he'll go out there, get you 5-6 innings. I think
If your 3 through 5 pitchers are averaging a 4.5 ERA, I think that you win 100 games. With this roster, genuinely, I think that they put up a lot of runs.
the thing is,
I think Cedric Mullins will have a bounce back year because he wasn't even terrible last year, but he wasn't his 308 All-Star self. They're stacked. They're very stacked offensively.
didn't they just sign? Yeah, they just signed an MPB pitcher too. They got Tomoyuki Sugano.
Yeah, he'll probably have the nastiest in the AL East.
Yeah, he probably has some type of forkball or something. He's gonna.
He's probably got some
everyone.
stupid sub 1,000 RPM splitter that looks just unreal.
Borderline knuckleball.
Yeah, that bro. I mean, you can get to Roki Sasaki in a minute, but dude, Roki Sasaki's splitter is just, it's alien. It's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Which is,
I
it's
think
funny because I'm a big MLB The Show guy. Roki Sasaki sucks online. And I was so excited to get his pipeline card, and he sucks online. So I hope he does better in real life.
How crazy is it, though, that you really want in your baseball team, if you can have a premier, best in the league catcher, premier, for argument's sake, we'll say top 3 shortstop. How do you not just salivate over that and build around them, And I think that the Orioles are doing solid without even spending crazy amounts of money.
I think Santander, though, was a
impressive.
big loss.
Absolutely. I
Them
think he's gonna
losing
cook.
Santander, I think moving on, if y'all are down to the next team, obviously he went to Toronto. That's another team that could be scary. I think the AL East is loaded with
Toronto's going to be so bad that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will not be a Blue Jay by the end of the year.
Really?
Yes.
Really? See, I look at this division and I see 4 playoff teams, maybe 5. Even though it's not possible.
Yeah.
You never know what the Rays are cooking up. They're a freaking pitching dungeon down there. They could have some crazy bounce back season from Shane McClanahan, because he's elite. He has electric stuff. I see 5 playoff teams that potentially just based off other teams around in the AL. I don't know.
I think
I think the Blue Jays have potential.
Vlad's gone. Bobichet's gone. I think Springer people won't want. So Vlad, Bo, I think Jose Barrios and Kevin Gossman are all traded by the deadline. Absolutely. I think that the Blue Jays this year are done. They're selling.
You think there's zero chance that with that team that they can't get themselves to a place where they're gonna be buying at the deadline, not selling?
I don't think that they'll sniff the wild card.
You really don't think that there's not a chance that they're sitting at the deadline right around 500 and thinking
They're not going to win the division.
This is our time now.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a team in the American League that isn't in this division that's better on paper than this team.
I just don't think that they are a top. What is it? A top.
It's 8, I think now, right?
I don't think they're a top 10 AL team.
Wow.
Especially with the context of, do they really want to pay Vlad, and do they really want to pay Bobichette?
There's 15 teams in the American League, and you think that they're not even top 10?
Nope.
Wow.
With a context of the next, with the future in mind, I don't think that they're a top 10 team.
Well, yeah, future in mind. They are a win now team. That's what I'm saying.
They do kind of have a
they are at
crap
the end of their
farm
window.
system.
I don't if they don't win in the postseason this year, I think for sure Vlad is gone.
Vlad's
and I
going to the
think
Mets.
that
A really high chance the rest of those guys, a lot of those other guys are gone too. So I think they are a win now team, and so you're looking at a win now team. If you're sitting, if it's July 30th, and you are 5 games below 500, and you're a win now team, I need to take my shot, man.
I think that the
2021
owners.
Braves, they had no Acuna, and they said, you know what? But look at this team. This team still has a chance. Alex Anthopoulos went out did an amazing job at the deadline, and both a team that went on a pace that had they played that had they won that many games in the first half, would have had like 107 wins or something insane like that. They were like they went on an insane run, and they won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I also
the trade
think that
deadline for a team that is near 500 and is ready to win just is missing a couple things.
I think they're
And
missing
get
a
you the
lot,
World Series, and I think
personally.
I don't
that
see
they
them
are a good
missing a
deadline away
lot,
from
though.
that.
I really
think that
don't
they have a
see them missing
very-
a lot.
I think their bullpen is very inadequate.
I mean, they have Yimi Garcia. They have a lot. They have a lot of like mediocre arms in the bullpen.
Yimi Garcia missed an entire year of baseball last year too.
It's a good
I
point.
think that they're a slow team. I think that they lack fundamentals. I think I saw the best Toronto Blue Jays team in the past 30 years, and I watched them blow a wild card to the Seattle Mariners. I think that that team on paper was the best team in the AL East, and they were sitting in the wild card for a reason, and I think that that's mentality. I don't think that they have a leader. I don't think that they have a good manager. I think that their GM is an idiot. I think that how many of these big negotiations can you go into, not get the player, and then not have that affect the locker room morale? I just think that they're a joke of a franchise. You were joking about the poverty franchise stuff. Toronto Blue Jays. And I think that they're going to look July 4th at the standings when they're 4th or 5th in the AL East. They're going to hope to God that the other GMs are drunk on a 4th of July celebration and try and rinse the hell out of these farm systems for Vlad, Bo Bichette, and Jose Barrios.
That is something that they really lack. They have no farm system.
No.
They have nobody in the
They're a shallow team, and the water's not even nice.
yeah. It's like Alabama beach water, basically.
Exactly. So
I can see where you're
I
coming
get
from.
that they're in win now mode, but they're not doing a good job at it, is what I'm saying. I think if you don't go out and get a Tyler O'Neill who actively wanted to come to your team, but you don't give him a 5-year contract, I don't know. It was just it was a really weird off season for them when they have two guys who have been fan favorites, who have been kind of the faces of their franchise with Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero Jr. Like, these were your all-stars. These were the guys that you were meant to build around. These were potential faces of baseball. And not only do you not extend them, not only do you not offer them long-term deals, you wait until the last year, and then you decide to go in this win now mode that you've supposedly been in this entire time, when you had a Ted Hernandez, when you had great players that didn't maybe produce, but you didn't believe in them to give them another extension. You bring in a Kevin Gausman went crazy. He was great for Toronto after San Francisco, but I just think if this is a win now roster, they're not winning anything. And I don't know why I'm so passionate about the Toronto Blue Jays, but I just do not believe in these guys at all. There's no way. Not as a fourth in... These guys are going to get 4th or 5th in the AL East. Third's not even close. Second, not a chance. First is a pipe dream. So I just don't think that they're going to have the mentality sitting in 4th place to then be so dedicated for a wild card spot. And I don't think that owners or the GM are going to try and buy into that wild card spot so much, because what if you lose 2 games of baseball? Then your season's done and you did all that buying for nothing. So I think that they are going to sell. And I think that they're going to realize that pretty soon. And I think Vlad Guerrero Jr., I don't want to say where I think he's going to end up, but he's going to look good in that Padre Brown. I definitely think so.
See, that's
I
very
can see that.
shocking to a Mets fan, because I think he's going to the Mets.
See, I did too. I was like, okay, last season I thought he was going to be a Met this offseason, but then
Okay.
you guys bought Pete, and I just...
Well, I think we're gonna turn around. I think this season. So this is kind of like way in the future, but I think like Brett Beatty, Vientos. Pete Alonso has an opt out for this season. I'm pretty sure it's either team or player. Either way, I think he like either way if he doesn't opt out, there's a lot of scenarios where we could pick him up. I think we could sign him to a decent deal, play him at first, Pete at DH, and then you have Vientos obviously at third. Instead, if Beatty like doesn't bounce back, if Beatty does bounce back, he could play third. We put Vientos at first. We put Vlad at DH. There's a lot of scenarios, but we'll get to that, later down the line.
And finally,
I think Vlad is going to be the. Do you guys remember Manny Machado and his trade deadline? Exact same thing like that. I think it's going to be a Vlad Guerrero Jr. sweepstakes, and I think the Padres will end up winning out for that one. And I think that's probably where he wants to be anyways. I don't think he wants to be a Toronto Blue Jay next year regardless. And I think that that's going to help.
I think if he did, he would have signed like way earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And then we're not even talking about Bo Bichette, who has been an all-star. He has been a 300 hitter. He has put up, 30 home runs, 25 stolen bases in a season, while being one of the worst shortstops since Derek Jeter, but that's neither here nor there. I think he's a solid ball player, and I think he's an everyman's ball player, and it's a contract year for him, so he does have to show up.
I think he has to bounce back. I think
what Bo and Vlad are you going to get is going to dictate, are you going to make that trade in July? Is it going to be for the team or selling the team? I think it really hinges on these two players, and I think Vlad could definitely be an MVP candidate for that reason, or they shut it down.
All I know is me personally, I only want Bo Bichette with the good hair.
Yeah, the haircut, brother, what are we doing?
That was there was some crazy hair changes this offseason. That might be the worst.
The short hair?
As someone who made that decision, I had the long hair and cut it.
Really?
Brother,
I look-y like it. I look-y liked it. Is that
I do too. And that's what I'm saying. I made that unfortunate decision. And Bo, no, you were one of us. Man, I do think he lost a lot of his aura. So we'll see. And they got Max Scherzer, who's the most volatile pitcher in the league now, who you don't know what you're going to get. Are you going to get an injury? Are you going to get, a 3.2 ERA? Or are you going to get a 5.8?
I mean, the way he's pitching in spring, I know obviously we said, I like to go to deeper veterans. I feel like spring matters more for the older dudes than it does the younger dudes, in a sense of the stats transfer.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a younger guy, like you said, Jared Kelenic, you can go off in spring training and absolutely poop the bed in
absolutely
in the regular season.
Another guy who did that too. What was his name? I think his name was Scooter something. But a solid little second baseman for the Reds. He used to always have a crazy spring, get crazy trade proposals, and then stay with the Reds and then suck. But Max Scherzer, I saw him get traded to one of my favorite teams to try and bolster up the rotation, and I saw him
worked.
They lost because of him.
But he brought them there though. Didn't they? Wasn't that the year you're talking about the Dodgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that the year they got him and Darvish?
They got
him and Darvish.
They got Trey Turner.
Yeah. And then they also picked up Darvish, right, from the Cubs.
I think so. He was solid regular season. And granted, Dodgers pitchers in the playoffs sucks anyways.
Yeah, I think that's just a Dodgers organizational thing, because you look at one of the best pitchers of all time in Clayton Kershaw, actually absolutely stinks in the playoffs. So
even Don Drysdale sucked in the playoffs too. But Max Scherzer, we'll see what he can do in the AL East. I think that's a pretty tough division to go to. We'll see, man. They have to pitch to a lot of really good teams. So
included is still, I think, the Rays. In a different division, I think the Rays' outlook would be different. Here, it's kind of rough. especially
It's cool to have rebuilding years.
Hey, yeah,
I
rebuilding.
feel like the Rays haven't
Stadium.
had a rebuilding year technically in like ever almost. Not ever, but like when was the last time?
Longoria, I
For,
feel like they've been just picking
for,
up
yeah, but
pieces.
for the most part, like
Just like this. It's
they
just
trade their
one
they
thing back
trade
and
their
forth.
best players, and all of a sudden you have 5 more guys that pop out, and they're like hitting 300 or sub 3 ERA, like just
Mhm.
random. Like where the heck did
Where'd you
Shane
get this?
McClanahan come from?
Yeah,
It's like how'd you get a Tyler Glasnow? How'd you get a Yanir Diaz? Like,
I don't
where'd you
even
get these
know.
people?
I
Where
honestly
did they come
don't even
from?
know the origin of Shane McClanahan. Like, how did this kid even pop up? I have
didn't
no
they have
idea.
Blake Snell too?
Yeah,
They did,
dude,
yeah.
they've had Blake
He
Snell,
won 2 Cy
Glasnow.
Youngs.
Yeah, dude, they had Snell, Glasnow,
That's
McClanahan,
insane.
The
They're
best
literally
Randy
a,
years of
Rosarena, Yanir Diaz.
it's literally a
I mean,
pitching dungeon over there.
granted, you know,
the best years of Nick
he's
Anderson.
not playing anymore. But I mean, Wander
What about
Franco was
Ben
looking like he's gonna be
Zobrist?
the next big thing, dude.
Ben Zobrist, the
Lau.
best
Dude,
utility
they
batter
have
of
all
all
these
time.
random guys. Like, there's no reason why the Tampa Bay Rays that can't even sell at Steinbrenner Field should have a team as good as they do every year.
You're right.
They
Yeah,
were in
and
a
you know
World
what? They
Series
brought
5 years ago.
they brought in a guy that I fucking adored for the Mariners, Jose Caballero. He can play every position. He'll steal you 30 bags. He'll hit above the Mendoza line, and he's just good for vibes. You know, he knows his role. He's going to be playing behind Christopher Morel from the Cubs. They have Brandon Lau, like you said. I think they
Nasty
brought in
bat, by the way.
Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're terrible, but it's
Christopher Morel can rake. Just wanted to put that out there. That kid's a
yeah. They brought in
beast.
Yandy Diaz, I think.
Yeah,
I
he
think-
did. My bad.
I think that they're super solid. They're not good, obviously, but they're better than like the Angels. I think that they're in a better position than the Astros. So
I think the Astros are the most. Me and Evan were talking about this a little bit earlier. I think the Astros are the most shaky team in the AL. I think they're the most unpredictable, but most likely like one of the worst teams in the AL.
we were talking about Cinderella stories too. Don't lose hope in these Rays.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
exactly it.
They could have
do
a
it-
Cinderella story. They could have a 2002 Oakland Athletics run because nobody here is that sexy blonde with the nice that you want to dance with, but they are that nerdy girl with the glasses who's always had a crush on you. That's these Tampa Bay Rays.
That's quite
That
the
is so
analogy.
real.
So, what are our thoughts? So let's just go each of us 1 through 5. Who's winning this division? Who's second? Who's third? Who's fourth? Who's fifth?
I think you
who's
guys
good enough
might
to get a
have the
wild
same
card?
one, so I'll go first, okay? Orioles, Red Sox, Yankees, Rays, Jays. And I want to say one thing about the Yankees that I forgot to mention. I really hope Carl Jones has a great first half and shows that he's that really good lefty pitcher that they can rely on. Love him to death. And for those who don't know who Carl Jones is, it's Carlos Rodon, but I just think that he's the whitest looking guy ever, so he's Carl Jones. God bless him. I fucking love Rodon, and man, but I love these Rays, man. 4th place Rays, maybe sniff that wild card. Who knows?
I'll go next. I'm gonna say Red Sox. I'm big on them. I love what they did in the offseason. Then I'll say Yankees, Orioles, Jays, Rays. I think that's like a basic. I think there's gonna be a lot of people that like the Yankees still for
A lot of people
whatever
are gonna
reason.
like the Yankees. A lot of
For
people
whatever
will.
reason. It's just I don't see it. I see Red Sox. I think the Yankees. I mean, they're still a great team and the biggest market in baseball, if not or second biggest market in baseball. So obviously, like I don't think there's a chance they miss the playoffs. I just don't think there's a chance they go far in the playoffs.
Is it crazy that I said that the MVP is going to be in the 3rd seed in the East?
I think it's a little crazy that you said the
think that
MVP
that's
is
crazy.
Cody Bellinger, but I don't think it's wrong necessarily.
No,
I think there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with that take.
I just want him to hit 40 bombs so
Look,
bad, man.
He
So
will.
bad.
Just pull the. All he has to do is put a little elevation.
People, you can just have such random seasons, bro. Like you never know.
Yeah,
It's
look at
gonna be-
Bobby Schmidt.
It's going to be back-to-back Yankees MVPs, but it's not going to be Judge. How crazy is that? That's insane.
For me, it's Red Sox, Orioles. Here's the thing. I love the way this Red Sox team is built right now. I'm on the Orioles bandwagon. I agree. I think this is an Orioles team
Welcome.
that is built to. I've been on the Orioles bandwagon since I guess 23.
They can't perform in the playoffs. Just saying.
Can't perform in the playoffs, and they need to fix that. And that's why I.
They're the Oklahoma City Thunder of the MLB.
That's real.
But
and Adley Rutschman's going to be
I'm
Kevin Durant. He's going to go to the
watch
Yankees.
This team go from being the dynasty of suck to the dynasty of success.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they are
Suck.
gonna do this for several years.
You can't spell success without suck.
I think
Exactly.
an Orioles World Series would be great for baseball.
It really would be, and I want to see that. I love the Orioles. I just think that the Red Sox are just, as of at this moment, just that tad bit better to where I can't quite get to putting the Orioles in first, but I think it's going to be a really fun division race to watch. Then third is Yankees, still a solid team. They're just, in my opinion, nowhere near as good as those other two. They're going to compete. They'll still win at least 85, maybe even scratch to 90. It kind of depends on how much the Blue Jays sell, what the Rays end up doing, right? And so then I'm going to go Jays for. I think they've still got a solid chance to put up 85
Do they make the wild
to
card,
90
though?
wins.
The Jays? Here's the thing. If the Blue Jays make the wild card, that means that every single team in this division besides the Rays makes the playoffs.
Look, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say.
There's literally four teams from the same division in the playoffs. That's a little wild.
I'll put up the situation, okay? If they are in a 2019 Nationals scenario, absolutely not. The Nationals started the season 19-31 and won the World Series. That is absurd. That should not have happened. I cannot believe that they managed to survive that. Unbelievable thing to do. I think if the Blue Jays go on and start 19-31, they will be selling at the deadline. I don't care where they go from there. They're gonna be like, we do not have this, and they're gonna sell. But the thing is, if they can go out and be 500, hang around 500 till the deadline, I think they can buy, and I think that they have the pieces to that if they go and buy at the deadline, make a run to the postseason, and I think legitimately, I think that they have guys that are going to show up and shock the world if they can make it in, and do something like what that Nationals team, 23 Rangers, 21 Braves. Dude, we have had so many, I think even better for baseball than just like what Ohtani's done for the game is the fact that we are having, it's not just juggernauts winning. You don't just have, your LA Lakers and your Boston Celtics just
proving the narrative
running the
wrong.
league. Like we talked about, like there's like the on paper champion in every league, right? Like this is the best team theoretically who should win. And in MLB, that team wins the least. Out of all the other championships, their on paper best team wins like magnitudes more than that happens in MLB. And I love to see it. Yes. Does Rangers versus Diamondbacks get you great viewership? No, not really. But you know what? It means that you don't have to spend all of that money, and I think that's better for the game as a game, right? In terms of its competitiveness, and so that's where I'm at on that. So if you guys want to now,
we should switch to the NL real quick and do the NL East. Like do that
NL East right now.
ALNL.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. So
we'll
NL
stay in the
East,
East, and then we'll go.
All right, the Phillies.
God,
best
man,
team
like,
in the. If we're eliminating the Dodgers, the Phillies are the best team in the league.
I think Bryce Harper's the coolest son of a bitch in the entire league. Like me and you were watching Bryce Harper highlights at like 1:30 a.m. one night.
Bryce Harper has aura, dude. That guy can.
I just don't think that there's anyone who loves baseball in the MLB, apart from some of the
young kids, probably. Like,
I wouldn't even say the young kids. I would say the guys who are coming over and playing, I think they love
from
baseball.
from Japan and stuff. Yeah,
From
you're right.
Japan, from Cuba, from Venezuela, from the Dominican Republic, like,
Although that's like half the league nowadays.
Curacao.
which I love.
Shout
I
out to all my
genuinely-
boys from Curacao.
Man, it's just like
Isn't Ozzy Albies like the only relevant player from that place?
No, Jurickson Profar, Kenley
Okay.
Jansen.
Kenley Jansen's like not relevant anymore.
Not as much as hey.
Profar had
Don't-
one
don't-
good season.
Jurickson Profar is a postseason legend, but
That's true.
Jurickson
That's
it's
Profar,
true.
hilarious that
Jurickson's
we're on
a-
this
and-
topic
Dude, he's a
because
personality too, man.
the
I'm
Phillies
excited
had
for him to
an
be healthy.
all-white lineup last year in the playoffs, and I thought that was hilarious.
I think that's low key. Like it's very once
You don't
again
see it a lot.
And they lost a lot when the Hispanic pitchers were pitching.
Absolutely, man.
When Zach Wheeler and Nola were on the mound, they were dominant. As soon as Sanchez and Suarez hopped up there, they gave up 10 runs.
I was sitting there on my ride home watching Bryson Stott's grand slam,
Oh.
Bryce Harper's pennant clinching home run, and then his home run in the World Series where the commentators were like, "Oh, yeah, he's going to throw a breaking ball," and then what did McCullers do? He hung a curveball in the lower inside. Bryce Harper hit it 463. Phillies are just a fun team that I just
As
feel like
much
you
as I
can't
hate to
hate.
say it.
They're a fun baseball
dude,
team, man.
Dude, I hate the Phillies, but like, here's the thing.
It's
As a Braves
easy. It's
fan,
easy
I
to hate
the
them
Phillies and Mets.
within the division.
Like, I just
Do
despise
you
the
really
Phillies and
hate
Mets.
them though, man? Like
Yeah,
they're
I
so
hate
good
them.
at baseball.
I hate them, but I
the
love
Phillies
their
are like
players.
the Phillies are the AL
those are
or the NL
amazing teams that
Astros.
I love their teams. I just hate the franchises.
For
Man.
Mets and Braves fans, the Phillies are the or the NL Astros.
Okay, so if you took Phillies off their chest and you just wrote baseball,
If you wrote any other thing on their chest, I'm a big fan because I'm a big Zach Wheeler guy. Even though he was terrible on the Mets and then he came over to the Phillies and started shoving. I love Trey Turner. I use his card in MLB The Show.
yeah, and he's an American hero.
Yeah,
If you were to
it's
swap
it's
the
Captain
entire
America.
Athletics and Phillies lineups, I would become a massive Athletics fan.
Exactly, but if
That's
you did
real.
that with the
That's real.
Astros, with the players that they have,
Oh,
those players, man.
that's so real.
With the Astros, it's the players that I hate more than the name. Just because
I
I
hate the
grew up in the
management.
Astros.
AJ Hinch was my least favorite person of all time.
But the Phillies, man, it's a good vibes team. Like you have Kyle Schwarber, who was
They love playing baseball.
He was a sweetheart on the Cubs. He was a sweetheart on the Red Sox. And-
Babyface Schwarber.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's a Philly. I didn't know that he hit 40 bombs last year. You wouldn't think so. In the leadoff spot, like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just think
40
that they're
bombs
one of
and
the
40
funnest.
RBIs.
Yeah, they're one of the funnest teams. They have JT Realmuto, who is the best catcher in this, not in this generation, but in the time between Buster Posey and Adley Rutschman. He's kind of like the staple. He was excellent in Miami when they had a very stacked team and then sold. And now he's been excellent, aged like wine for the Phillies. I think he's a great captain, a super solid in the 5-hole. If he hits, I think he had a pretty tough year last year, but if he hits anything near 800 OPS while being one of the best defensive catchers, I think you're super solid.
Who did Realmuto used to play for?
The Marlins.
That's right. Dude, it's sad how,
When
how
they had
bad the
Yelich
Marlins.
and
Yeah,
Stanton.
it is sad how much the Marlins like completely destroyed their franchise.
Oh yeah, I have
terrible.
no opinion about teams like the Marlins, about teams like the Athletics, because they aren't having.
They did it to
fun.
themselves. They did it to
Right.
themselves.
Yeah.
Although I think the Athletics are sneaky. Just saying.
Yeah, like the Marlins, this is the funniest thing about the Marlins. They have, 2 World Series titles and no division titles.
Yeah, they're in
Marlins
the
have
NL East,
never won
right?
the East.
Yeah, they're the
They have
East.
2
Yeah,
World Series.
like it's a takeable.
To be fair, the time period that they won those 2 World Series like the time period that they won those two championships in, the NL East was stacked. So
This
They
is
were
true.
stacked, though.
I don't think
they were
I don't think
absolutely
they
stacked.
were, but look at the Braves at that point, best pitching staff of all time. Phillies,
Still now.
they hit the crap out of the ball that time period. The Mets were like all right, like they in the playoffs here and there. They made the World Series in 2000, I think, and then Marlins won it in 2002 or something like that. So, so it was this division
It's so volatile
from
because it's like a fusion division, which is what I always have called it, because you never know who's going to be what in a given 5-year span. Because I feel like every 5 years there's a different top
always
dog. Like
It-
2015, you had the Mets in the World Series. 2021, 2022, the Phillies were there.
19
2010, they were
the
there.
Nationals.
Exactly.
The Nationals were there in 19.
The Marlins were cooking in the early aughts.
The Braves have been there multiple times. The Phillies were there 3 times in a row almost.
The Braves had what? The Braves won the division, 18 through 23? They had, 6 straight titles?
Yeah, and before that, it was the Mets, for 4 straight titles. And then the Phillies were doing their thing in, their late 2000s, mid 2010s, or, early 2010s.
Yeah, dude, this division's always
Crazy.
entertaining. It's got a lot. It's got a lot of great. I mean, it's got some of the most exciting rivalries in the Mets, Phillies, and Braves. They all hate each other's guts. They're entertaining games. They're entertaining rivalries. In recent history, at least 2 of them have been competitive. And this year and last year, in the last couple of years, they've all been competitive. And it's a fun division. It really is. There's nothing like going, oh, crap, we're playing the Phillies today. It's like we have to face Aaron Nola, who's gonna throw 7 innings, 12 Ks, and our only hope is gonna be that their bullpen just absolutely just throws the game away, right? They're fun games. It's an exciting division. And
Who's the best right fielder in the NL East?
Juan Soto.
right fielder though.
Juan Soto's a right fielder.
Yeah, but is he a good right fielder? He's a good player, but is he a good right fielder?
He's a suitable right fielder.
So you think Juan Soto's better than Acuna?
Yes. As of right now, yes.
What about you, Big Ev?
I'd
Who do
say
you think's gonna have the better year, Ronald Acuna Jr. or Juan Soto?
It's not even close.
Acuna's
It's not even close.
Juan Soto will have better than Ronald Acuna Jr. because Ronald
You
Acuna
think
Jr.
so?
will not play up to 2023 performance. When
He's not gonna bounce
in 2021, he got
Why
hurt.
not?
And he came back in 2022. He was not as good. He had not
He
found his
tore
legs
his ACL
again.
last year.
Look, I think best case scenario, he comes back and he keeps the power and maybe keeps the batting average. He will not have the speed.
He's
I don't
not. He's
think
not
so.
stealing. He's
And
not stealing 40 bags.
He
again.
is not. I could get behind 40 with the current rules, but he is not going to be stealing 50, 60, 70,
I don't-
80 bags. He's not.
I don't even think he'll
doing that
touch.
again.
I don't even think he'll touch 35.
I think Ronald
he is
Acuna
not
Jr.
there.
is going 40-40 again.
Yes, but he's going to miss the entire first month of the season.
He's not going.
And he's
40,
still going
40.
40-40.
He's not
dude,
even-
As a Braves
he's
fan,
not
I'd
even
love to
touching
believe that.
35.
I just physically
He-
can't. I we'll talk about it later. He's one of the big keys to the Braves actually being as good as a lot of people keep saying the Braves are.
I think
don't
the
think
Braves.
I don't think that he's there. I don't think that he's gonna be back. I think that the power is gonna be there. I think the batting average is gonna be there. But I think that the thing that makes Ronald Acuna Jr. is the fact that he can run out infield singles and the fact that he can steal, over 40 bags. Right. The fact that he is a huge base running threat.
He's not going to do it.
It's not going to be here because he had to get that confidence back, and I don't think he's going to have that confidence back yet.
I also don't think they're gonna have obviously when you're stealing, it's a coach's decision, right? Like they give you the sign or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't think he'll get that sign often. As of
They
at
need to protect
least as he starts to readjust and coming back, I don't think they'll be giving him the steal sign. I think that's a coaching thing. I don't think they're gonna risk him hurting himself on the bases. I think I think they want to keep him as healthy as possible, especially if they're going to go deep into the playoffs. So I don't think they're going to be giving him the steal sign often. I don't see him even touching 35 stolen bases.
Man, I look
30
at
is a
Ronald
stretch.
Acuna Jr. and I just see a guy that loves playing the game of baseball. And I think if there's ever someone who's going to come back and beat those odds, be the Adrian Peterson of the MLB, come back and not only be yourself, but be the best version of yourself. I'm not talking 47.
Jacob deGrom.
But I am talking about just someone who loves the game of baseball, gets paid a handsome amount to play the game of baseball, and there's no reason why he can't come back and be himself and be super sick. You know, I think Juan Soto is a great baseball player. I just think that Ronald Acuna Jr. is one of the best to ever do it. And I know he's super young, but I think this is the year that he comes back and
That hurts my heart to hear as a
cements
Mets
the
fan.
next 6-7 great years of his career.
Do you think his brother's going to be the same way?
No, but I think his brother's solid. I think his brother's a solid player.
I want
but
his brother to start over Jeff McNeil. That's a hot take.
I've never been a big Jeff McNeil guy. I think
I was big on him. He hit 300 average per season until 2 years ago. He completely fell off. Now I want Luis. Dude, I love the Acuna brothers. I think they're a great team. They're a great group of a great couple dudes that can play the game of baseball. But I think that injury is going to take a big toll on Ronald. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near the capabilities that he was at
Can I
prior
ask
to the injury.
why? Because
Okay.
it was just a
Coming
torn
off of
ACL.
coming off of the torn ACL from 2021, was it, or 22?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in
coming
21, so in 22.
Coming
he
off
was
of the ACL
recruiting.
in 2022, he did not bounce back right away. I'm not saying that he won't bounce back within the next 2-3 years, but coming off of that season, obviously, like if you go here,
His slash line was 266, 351, 413.
yeah, see, batting 266 with the name Ronald Acuna Jr. is unheard of, and I'm pretty sure that only happened because he tore his because he came out the next year fully healthy. He what did he bat that time, like 300? OPS probably over 800.
He slashed 337, 416, 596 in 2023 with a 1,012 OPS.
Yeah, that's Ronald Acuna numbers, and if he was not even close to that coming off the ACL injury, so I don't think, at least this year, he won't get it. And
Can I jump in right here?
yeah, of course.
Psychologically speaking, I think that was probably his first proper big injury. Like when it happened, he's sitting there on the ground knowing his season's over, right? Same injury happens. So it could really go one of two ways. Either he's like, oh, this happened again, and it's going to be in his head, or he can go in the route of, I know what I have to do to get back. I know what I need to feel like to be who I was before, and I know what to do differently this time around in the recovery and the rehab and the rehabilitation. And I definitely think that he's just a guy who loves playing the game of baseball. So when he got hurt, I kind of took the optimistic route that this has happened before and he knows what to do, where he needs to be at. And I think he knows what he's capable of. He knows the greatness that he's capable of. And when you taste excellence, it's all you want to drink. And I think that he is one of those guys who wants to be a name, not just a name that gets mentioned as a great ball player from a decade. I think that Ronald Acuna Jr. wants to be a legend in the game of baseball. I think he wants to be spoken of and heralded with the Mickey Mantles and the Babe Ruths, as opposed to the Manny Ramirez's of the world, you know? Not saying Manny Ramirez is a bad player, but he's not a legendary ball player that I think Ronald Acuna has the drive to become. And I think just psychologically, I'd like to be optimistic and hope that he comes back and does the things that he does better than almost everyone else on the planet. It would be sad, and I think really it would suck. Would it be likely? Sure. But that's what makes these 1 in a million stories awesome, and I think it happens in baseball and to guys like Ronald Acuna Jr., and it cements them. And I think that this is just where he becomes a legend, genuinely.
Okay, so here I'm going to give you a theoretical scenario here, right? His contract right now is up until he could potentially opt out after 26, but right now it's up till 28. So going into 28, he'll be approaching. I think he'll be either his age 30 or 31 season. So let's say he has the capabilities to do this till he's 40. So let's say 9-10 year contract, right, with a team that's just willing to pay him. Do you think if he goes, say, 30, 40, 40, 40, 40, 50, somewhere in that range where he's hitting for power and speed, maybe speed tapering off as he starts to get a little bit older, do you think he has the potential to sign something in that same range of Soto and Shohei, where Shohei got 70 million AAV and Soto got 51 million? Do you think Acuna has that kind of effect, that kind of gravitas, that kind of just like he is worthy of that money? Do you think he's worthy to say like 10 years, 600 million?
Can I
If
answer
I was
this?
a general manager, my opening offer to him would be 55.
A year
Yeah.
for
that would
10
be
years.
That would be my opening offer.
500 million? I don't
Oh,
even
yeah.
think he scratches the surface of that, and here's why. He's what, 30? He's gonna be 31 years old. And I know I'm harping on this injury stuff a lot, but they matter.
No, it's very
It's
two
very
torn
valid.
ACLs.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. Torn ACL and one, like, two
But it
torn
is a
ACLs.
lot different
One in
like the
each
NFL
knee.
or NBA than it is in the
But
MLB.
he's a lot of his value comes from the defensive capabilities and the capabilities of his base running, which involves him running a lot because he is an outfielder.
Absolutely.
And
But
that's
he's
where a
always
lot of
going to have
a lot of his value
instincts
goes
and his
there.
cannon arm, though. He always will.
But here's the thing: I don't think there's a player in the league besides Shohei Ohtani and maybe Aaron Judge that the hitting alone gets you over $500 million. I don't think there's a player in the league besides Shohei and Judge. Maybe Soto, but I think the only reason Soto got what he got was because he was very young, and he's producing that. But
And
I
he's
don't
a above average fielder.
yeah, and he's not terrible at fielding. So I think again, I don't think he scratches the surface of 500. Now, of course, that's in today's scenario. By the time that scenario is probably
Adjusted for
true,
inflation.
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure there will be guys with close to, like, I mean, not close.
Someone will
not
listen
a billion,
to this in
but
a century and be like, 500 mil for a player? Like, what a steal.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But,
The average for war, the U.S. dollar will just become like freaking, what is it, yen?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yen?
bro.
Yeah, the Japanese
2,000 yen's a dollar.
Yeah, it's like it should just become that.
And I do think that it is comical that we are harping on, dropping from a 40-70 to a 40-40. Something that only a handful of guys have done
Yeah,
anyways.
which is sad. Like, that's how good this guy is, but
Right.
it's insane.
Evans, the best player in his franchise's history, had a 40-40 year. So I just, not a whole lot of people have done it, and this guy did 40-70. Like, that's nuts. And if he could be 90 to 85% of that, are you mad about it?
No,
If he's hitting...
if he can come back and if he's back and he's playing 75%.
If he's back and he's smiling, enjoying the game,
smiling
like...
and playing, if he's back smiling, playing 60%, I'll be happy. If he is
Because his 60% is all-star caliber.
Dude, if he plays 75% of his 2023 season, the Braves are going to be a terrifying team.
What scares me a little bit, though, is his stint in 2024. Obviously, he played he played 49 games. He was struggling. He had 50. He struck out 53 times. He only had a 250 average, which, like, for him is struggling.
Yeah.
Because you look back at 2023, obviously, or like even 2022, like the year he did that, like he was putting up, like, obviously he wasn't as bad, like, but he was on pace to have the same kind of year he did in 2022, and that was like the year after the injury. He was on pace for only around like like 50 to 60 RBIs and a 266 average at best. Like he was not having the greatest year for the amount of time he played in. Now, I don't know if that's because he's a second half player. I haven't looked into that enough. But he was struggling. He wasn't having the greatest season. So
are we buying or selling on Juan Soto then?
I'm
To have
buying.
the better year.
I'm 100%.
I'm going Juan Soto because he's gonna be healthy.
He's going to be healthy. He's playing in a new environment. Players like him, I think, players that are like that caliber, they love going to a new place. They love he wasn't. I don't think he was the most comfortable in like you could tell he was having fun playing the game, but I don't think this is kind of crazy to say considering the numbers he put up, but I don't think he was comfortable in the position he was in New York, only because there was a guy like Judge there, so he wasn't the solidified best player in the clubhouse. But now that he is, I think he's going to be more comfortable to do what he has to do to help the team win, and I think that's gonna. I mean, he's going to hit 40 bombs. He's going to probably have 275 average, more than that probably. He'll have a 1,000 OPS. Like he's gonna do crazy things. Granted, he's not gonna win MVP because someone named Shohei Ohtani is in the West in that league, but he's gonna be up there in voting for sure. So
is Shohei just gonna win MVP every year now?
I think so. I mean,
I think it'll
can't
get
put him
more
out.
difficult if he isn't able to continue pitching.
Well, he didn't pitch a lick last year, and he
exactly.
won that. He was unanimous,
he had
basically.
a generational season. But the thing is you get to a certain point where it's like, well, like how many times can we just give? Like, sure, he's the biggest player, right? But it's like, if really at the end of the day, if he's not playing the field, like
that's
I
the
understand
argument I tried to make,
and that's the first time we've done that. But the thing is like, yes, did he deserve it this year? Yes, because 50-50. But he's not going to do 50-50 every year. And I think if he goes down to just 45-45...
He sure could. He sure could. Look at the guy.
Why not, Evan?
I think if he goes down to 45-45, a guy, like, you give Lindor a season like he had last year, and then you give me a 45-40 Ohtani, I'm giving it to Lindor, because Lindor's playing the field. He's playing platinum level of defense.
As a Mets fan, I love that take. As a person that loves the game of baseball and that knows the game, that's the biggest pile of BS I've ever heard. Because any person on the history of planet Earth that loves the game of baseball sees someone that's hitting 45 home runs and stealing 45 bases at the ripe old age of like 32 years old, that is also
he was 29 last year.
30 years old. That's also that. Even
we got
better,
10 more years of this chicanery, man.
Also capable of pitching at a Cy Young level. If you see that, like, even if he's not pitching, you know that he's capable of doing so. Like, the fan in me last year was making the same argument. I was like, he's not playing defense. He's not on the field regularly besides hitting. Like, I don't think he should win. Like, that was me in my brain because obviously I wanted to see Francisco Lindor win the MVP. I think any person that would vote for Francisco Lindor over Shohei Ohtani if he's putting up 45-45 as a 6'7" alien that could also pitch a 2.95 ERA with 200 strikeouts and throw 100 miles an hour fastballs, like, I think you're crazy. This just
okay. So let me ask you this question.
Clip that.
So then here's the question. Shohei Ohtani, let's say he has a decent season next year, right?
He's gonna have a better year this year, Evan.
Okay.
He definitely will.
Let's see.
He's not.
Here.
He doesn't have a torn elbow.
I'm going to propose.
He did that. He did that last year with a torn elbow, man.
Yeah, and he's more comfortable in Dodger Stadium. He has 2 more Japanese brothers on his team to give him moral support on the pitching side. Like, come on.
Okay. Here, I'm going to lay this scenario because I want to.
And I think it's racist. I think it's racially motivated.
No, I love what the Dodgers are doing. How they have made themselves the biggest marketed team in the world because now they're not just pulling.
They have the whole country of Japan on their side.
You have an entire freaking country of 60 million. Like,
Yeah,
that's not in a country that loves baseball more than the country that created baseball.
Yes, that's
And
insane.
they all love you. Like, there is zero reason for any guy who is good enough to be a Dodger to not want to be a Dodger if he's coming over from Japan.
That's so
Like, dude,
so true.
let me look. I mean, we'll get to it in a second, but like Roki Sasaki, why the heck would you go
Let's just
anywhere
get to the
else?
Dodgers. Let's just hop, skip, and jump to
I
the
feel
NL
like
West.
we're severely we severely underestimated the time this would take.
that we want to talk, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah. If we're going right to the Dodgers, I want to list every significant free agent signing they did this year.
Every single
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
Roki Sasaki, Hae-Sung Kim, the Korean second baseman, Blake Snell, Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, two elite bullpen arms. They got Clayton Kershaw back, obviously like a veteran dude to be in the
One of the
bullpen.
best pitchers to ever throw
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah, they got the World Series playoff legend Tommy Edman. They got the raker of paws, Teoscar Hernandez, and they got
miss you, Ted.
another late in the season / like playoff legend Kike Hernandez, and that's like not even scratching the
more.
surface of their lineup. like they literally have an all-star team as a team.
One of the best catchers in baseball.
Yeah, every single
One
one
of the
of
best first
those
basemen in
guys
baseball.
in their starting lineup, in their opening day lineup, I guarantee you every single one of those dudes could be an all-star. Or has been an
Shortstop.
all-star.
Mookie Betts could be an all-star at any position.
Before you seen their opening day lineup, it was scary.
And
It
also
was scary
about-
last year, and they added like five more Hall of Famers.
They dominated against a Cubs team that is going to be sneaky good, if not just straight up good in the Central.
They're going to win the
and-
Central.
and
That Cubs team's going to win the Central.
They made them look like amateurs.
And you know what,
They
Shohei
made the
Ohtani,
Cubs
man?
look bad. The Cubs are good, and that Dodgers team is so good that they made the Cubs look bad. I feel
They put
bad
their
for
best
the Cubs
hitter-
that they had to open the season in as hostile an environment as Japan.
The Cubs had a player that hit Ian Happ. What did he hit? Like 277 last year? Let's check.
Solid ball player.
Let me fact check this. He hit 240. Okay, wait, hold on. Never mind. I'm looking at some. Let's
Solid ball
go
player you can
to
have.
let's go to Seiya Suzuki. The guy's literally from the country of Japan. The Dodgers embarrassed him in his home country. And he's one of their better, like last year he hit 283, in 132 games. He struck out 3 times the other day.
Great ball player.
Yamamoto struck him out 3 times in his home country. The disrespect that they absolutely put the Cubs BTA, like completely like spanked them, and it wasn't even close. And that's the team that's going to win the NL Central.
Yeah.
It's not even fair. It's not even fair. It's a
And
dynasty.
Shohei Ohtani, man, he could go 60-60. He could.
He could go 70-70 if he
And
wanted
dude,
to.
I think he could also be the best player in the MLB at any position. I think he could. And
I believe it. I
I'll
think
give
there's
you that,
maybe
'cause
some
he's-
ones where I'd be
he's
like,
tall enough to play first base. That's the only iffy position, but he's tall enough to play there. So.
And you know what? Hot take. As a Dodger fan, I want him to be our closer. Let him DH every single game, and when you need him, warm him up.
That's
dude,
insane.
that's what he should do. The
That's
thing is,
insane.
I don't think he
How are you
needs to
gonna
be a
put
starter.
guy? Wait, but I mean, I
No,
guess
think about it.
It's
think
crazy
about
that- hold on.
WBC. In Miami, inside of the U.S., a U.S. team that was fired up. You had Shohei Ohtani, the current GOAT, versus the GOAT of the last
the current
of the
GOAT.
last
He's the GOAT.
generation.
He's the greatest of all time.
Who, Mike Trout? Are you gonna say that?
No.
Mike Trout's
No,
okay,
get outta
No,
here.
no, Otani.
Okay,
Otani's the best player to ever touch a baseball. He's the
Yes,
best player to ever come out
yes,
of his
so
mother's
you-
uterus and touch a baseball. It's not even funny,
No,
bro.
dude,
I don't
you-
even know
you
if
have-
he came out of a uterus. Bro came from a lab in Shanghai after like a bunch of scientists freaking tested him in a petri dish and said this is going to be the greatest baseball player of all time. We're sending him to Japan to get rigorously trained by some of the best baseball players internationally. We're going to send him to the major leagues, and he's going to be a complete alien. Bro's the Superman of competitive professional sports. It's not even close.
And you know what? And he made America's hero Mike Trout look silly in that 9th inning. He made Mike Trout look silly.
Mike Trout let down his country.
It's like
he did not let
Captain
down his
America
country.
getting pooped on by a dog from Japan. Basically,
No,
just got pissed
no,
on by a
no.
dog.
That is Hulk getting beat up, getting absolutely beat the crap up by Thanos. That's what it is.
Yeah, basically. Like if we're comparing it to like
Mike
movies.
Trout had not seen anything like Shohei Ohtani. Mike Trout could not have done anything. Shohei Ohtani is just that good. Shohei Ohtani should just be a closer. He could, dude. I think if Shohei wanted to, he could do Felix Bautista,
we are
Ben Joyce
banning
type
him in
crap,
my fantasy
throw
baseball league.
103,
Are y'all really?
and then just
Yeah.
Yo,
He's banned from our fantasy baseball. You cannot have Shohei Ohtani.
has there ever been a fantasy baseball or fantasy league in general in any sport that has banned a single player because they're that good? I don't
No.
think so. That's how you know he's
No,
the greatest
stu-
player on the
yeah.
history of the planet Earth.
Minus
he's
Barry
also just
Bonds.
overpowered because
Oh,
he can
okay.
pitch like an ace.
Barry
And then
Bonds is the goat of baseball
50-50.
at this very moment, but as soon as Shohei Ohtani
Agreed.
retires, he's the greatest of all time. It's not even funny.
If Shohei can, if Shohei, like, look, here's the thing, I will say I'm slowly. I was a massive Shohei skeptic like 5 years ago.
Oh, I could tell. You still hate him.
I do not
Yeah.
hate him. I'm starting to appreciate.
Look at the
like, what he's doing for
twinkle in
game.
your eye as we talk about how good he is. You just want him to be so bad.
Because it's because I want young stupid me to be right, but young stupid me is just wrong. And
Honestly,
are.
I get the feeling though, because I don't want to have a person in the National League where my favorite teams are and my favorite players are to win everything, because I want to see people.
For me,
I like a
want it to
game
suck because
where there's variety.
I want variety. That's the only thing. That's
Exactly.
That's the reason why I pray on his
Man,
downfall a little. Is because I just
grew
don't
up-
want to see. I just don't want to go to Baseball Reference and see 7 MVPs and be like, what is this?
He
Like,
already has
what I-
4, right? How many? Let's check how many he has.
Yeah,
That's what I'm used
he's-
to, man,
he's-
because
he's-
I grew up
he's this
with
close
Roger
to ruining the crazy
Clemens.
Barry Bonds number of because what isn't the most any other player has is 3, so Barry Bonds still has more than any other. He's at least
he
equal
has
to any 2
4.
players
He's
combined.
a
Shohei's
he's
gonna
a
ruin
3-time
that.
MVP.
Well, Shohei's gonna end the Barry Bonds having more MVPs than any 2 players combined.
Holy
Shohei's gonna ruin
crap,
that.
bro.
Shohei's ending that 100%. I believe it. Like
This
Shohei
guy is actually
Ohtani
insane.
will
It's
win in-
incredible.
I
Holy
can
crap!
say
Wait, I didn't even realize
conservatively-
this. I didn't even realize this. Barry Bonds has 7 MVPs.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's 7 MVPs.
Yeah,
Did he
Roger
win one on the-
Clemens has
Did he win one on the-
7 Cy Youngs.
Yeah, but doesn't what's his name have more than that? Doesn't Randy Johnson have like 8
Randy
or
got
something?
4, I think.
4? Okay, yeah, you're right.
No,
No, I
he-
thought, no,
Because
No,
he
Randy,
sucked
he won
5.
4 in a row. Sorry, he won 4
He
in a row.
sucked. He sucked early in his career. He was so wild.
I think I thought Randy got 4 in a row, and then
I
he
think
won
it's
the 5th one
6th,
somewhere.
5th or 6th.
Guys, I think we're gonna have to do like a second episode of predictions because this is like taking way too long.
Well, let's finish with the American League. Or no, we did East. Yeah, so just upload the East. We'll do West and Central
Oh.
in their own
Oh,
Yeah.
own recording.
Yeah, because dude, I mean,
Because literally
There's
all we
so
talked
much to
about
talk
was the
about.
entire East of America and Shohei Ohtani.
yeah.
That's all we
Which
talked
honestly,
we
Shohei
didn't
oh,
Nets or
Shohei
Nationals. We didn't even
Shohei
touch
Ohtani
those.
Shohei Ohtani deserves literally an episode to himself. It's not even funny.
No, he's
Like
insane.
just a whole like documentary of like his life.
Yeah,
It's
so we
insane.
promise in the Central episode, we will not mention the name Shohei Ohtani.
Yes, yes.
We will.
that's
we'll-
gotta
we'll
be
save
the
it
key.
for the West.
We will be actively. Anytime someone mentions, anytime someone says Ohtani or Shohei Ohtani or anything of the sort, we'll just bleep
You'll
it.
be kicked.
We'll,
Yep.
we'll
Oh,
cut
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole.
that's
We'll
a
cut
good
the
one.
whole. We'll cut their whole thing that they said that involves Shohei Ohtani.
Yes.
Whatsoever. So, NL East predictions to wrap this sucker up. NL East predictions.
It's all
I
about
think,
the Mets, baby. Let's go Mets.
I think I can go here because like, you know, I'm repping the jersey
Mhm.
today. As much as I hate to say it, as much
He's
as
gonna
I
say
hate
the
to say it,
Phillies.
I have Phillies at 1, only because they have the second best rotation in baseball right now. Spoiler alert: the best rotation in baseball comes from the jersey that's on your chest right now.
Yes,
TJ.
it does.
No, it's actually
Yes,
on his
it does.
back.
Yes,
Well,
it does.
Image
No,
was
it's on
on
his
his back.
chest.
No, it's also on his
Oh,
arm.
baby.
Oh yeah. That team has
Not just the best rotation in
nasty
baseball,
rotation.
the best 1 through 6 of all time. Of all time.
We have to bleep that out. That has to be edited
That's
out
got-
or
that's-
something.
that-
Because that's crazy.
No.
The only reason it's like I'll give you top 10. I'll give you top 10. They're just all so young. They're all so young. Besides
Exactly.
Luis
And guess
Castillo.
what?
And they're gonna get better. That's the scary part. They're gonna get better.
And one of them is
under
winning the
cheap
Cy Young,
rookie
which
contract.
you'll have to wait for the awards
Dude,
episode.
I'm a big Kirby guy. Just saying.
I love Gilbert. I love Kirby. I love Wu. I
Kir-
love
I
Castillo.
watched Kirby's debut. I watched Kirby's MLB debut, and I'm pretty sure it was against my Mets, and he tore them up.
Dude, that is a scary rotation, and that's me exciting.
and they're only going to be better.
And I can't wait to talk about it when we get
Yeah.
to it. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
for me,
George Joseph Kirby is an American League professional baseball pitcher for the Seattle Mariners of Major League Baseball. He made his MLB debut in 2022, and he I think threw. Let me see this.
Torched the Mets.
He absolutely freaking slaughtered them. I'm pretty sure he had like. Why is it not popping up? I'm actually gonna crash out. What the
all
heck?
right, while you
I'm
do
going to
that,
say Phillies,
care to finish? Yeah, that.
Mets,
okay.
and the Braves are going to have months where they are all at number 1. And I think it's going to be a
Agreed.
really tight race. And I really want to say the Phillies just feel like a wild card team because they are just such a fun team. You know, why the hell not playing the wild card? So they're going to be my number 3 seed. I think that the Mets made too many good moves to not be the number 2 seed. And I want to see the Atlanta Braves come back with all the fundamentals. I want a good season from Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Bolter. Evan sold me on the odd year Matt Olson theory. I want to see Spencer Strider back in the Cy Young contention. I want to see the bullpen, who very underrated bullpen. I really like the guys in there. I think they have good stuff.
Just saying, Jesse Chavez just got released earlier.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Just saying.
The plan is working. The plan is working.
The
Jesse
Rangers
Chavez
just
is age,
dropped
like
him.
42. Jesse Chavez is age 42, who had like an 18 ERA in spring training, is gonna come back to the Atlanta freaking Braves and have like a sub-2 ERA, and it's gonna be amazing.
.36 ERA with 60 strikeouts and 40 saves for Jesse Chavez.
At 43 years old, with a body that barely functions, but you know what? When he's in a Braves uniform, it's Shohei Ohtani than Jesse Chavez. No, but
I'm
for
gonna
me,
finish mine up real quick. I have
Yeah,
Phillies,
let's hear yours.
second best rotation, obviously monster top of the lineup. I don't think there's a team in the division. I don't think there's a team in the league besides the Dodgers that can contend with them. Mets, I got Mets number 2. Pitching's a little shaky. I think that starting rotation's risky. I think as soon as we get to the deadline, they're gonna go after some big names. I think they'll go after like people like Flaherty. I think they'll go after Flaherty. I think they'll try their prospects at Cease. I think they'll go after some. I think Braxton Berrios, or not Braxton Berrios. That's a football player. I'm stupid. Jose Berrios. I think they could go after him.
Ooh, interesting. I wonder who said that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a way that they go there and fix that pitching problem. Braves, very injury prone. It's all. I think it's all based on how well Ronald Acuna bounces back. Nationals, I think they're rebuilding. I think they're developing. I'm a big James Wood guy, as well as a Dylan Cruz. I love the outfield that they're developing there in Washington D.C. And then I have one word to describe the fifth seed in this division, and it's trash. And I won't even say the name because it should be burned in a garbage dump.
Yeah, relocate them. They don't
Yeah.
deserve them.
They're so terrible.
Okay, Man, I don't know how I want to approach this. I'd say the fan in me wants to say Braves won, and I think I 100% agree with the. I was talking to Grady about this earlier. I 100% agree with the idea of that. They're going to go back and forth all season. That they're going to take turns at number one throughout the year, and I was talking to Grady about this earlier. You play under their new schedule where everyone plays everyone at least once, right? You play every team in your division 13 times. I think every single one of these teams, the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets, they are all good enough to go out and win 80 games outside of their 26 games against each other. I think they are all that good. And the thing
They could
is,
all have 100 if it was possible.
and the thing is, they go out and do that, win those 80, and they all go 7-6 against each other. They're gonna have like 94, 93 wins each. Okay, and I think that's legitimately how these go. Who goes 1, 2, 3 will be determined by the Braves and Phillies 13 games, the Braves and Mets 13 games, and the Phillies and Mets 13 games. That's what this decision is gonna be. That's what this division is gonna be decided by. And I think at the end of the day, here's who will win out in those. I think that the Phillies will take the season series against the Braves. I think the Braves will manage to cling on for dear life against the Mets. And I think that the Mets will do the same against the Phillies. That the Mets will cling on for dear life against the Phillies. So I think the only clear winner in that is going to be the Phillies. And so I think the Phillies are going to win like 96 games. And then it's going to be the Braves and Mets with like 94. And it's going to be exciting. I don't know that the Braves... I want to say the Braves... I think here's the thing. I think it becomes the Braves straight up if Acuna and Strider are back at like 90% of their 23 form. Barring that, it's the scenario I just laid out. But if they come back and they do that, I take Braves 1. But I'd say the realistic, I'm going to go Phillies, Mets, Braves, Nationals, and the Sardines.
I think the fun thing about the NL East is that it's only going to be a much better division after the deadline because they're all going to bring in some insane players.
And even
like, dude,
like
you
the Marlins
mentioned,
will
like,
trade some older pieces for like prospects that they'll call up like late in August and try and develop them in the majors. Like, I think you're totally right on that one. I think the Nationals, like, they might not be doing anything in the deadline, but they'll bring up players in August that they have in the farm system and they'll try and get them reps. So I think you're right.
Good
that's
take.
a good take.
And here's the thing. You mentioned like, oh yeah, you believe in Nadir Olsen. You want to see Riley do good. Here's the thing. Ozzy Albies, I think he is still an underrated second baseman, and he's had some injuries the last couple of years. I think he's still solid. I think the only position that the Braves are really, in my opinion, truly lackluster at is shortstop. Here's the thing. They went out
Orlando
and got
Arcia is
Profar.
not going to do it.
Orlando Arcia cannot do it. I do not want Orlando Arcia to continue being our shortstop. I want us so badly. Dude, I would
bet you
love...
miss Dansby Swanson so much.
Dude, I was when I was watching him in the Tokyo series. Oh my gosh, I was so happy. I didn't even care. Like I was on a trip where where an hour and a half of sleep determined whether or not you survive the day. I said screw that. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. because I want to watch freaking baseball. I want to watch baseball happening on the other side of the world because I miss baseball, and I loved it. It was worth every second. I got to watch some of the best players in the world just get shellacked by just the most absurd team in sports history.
And
like,
mind you, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts were not even playing.
Yes, that's the stupidest part. Is two guys, two former MVPs that are still really good, weren't even playing. And so, like, I look at that, I'm just like, so, anyways, but for, like, the Braves, you didn't even mention Spencer Schwellenbach, reigning Cy Young and Triple Crown winner Chris Sale. Do I think he's going to be that good again? No. That was
Why not?
anomaly.
It's a fluke. It's a fluke. He is not like Verlander. He does not age like fine wine.
Why not?
I do not think he's going to regress back to what he was in those years with the Red Sox. I think he is going to still be a solid pitcher. He's going to be a great
He'll get you.
I think when Strider's back, it'll be a great 1-2 punch. It'll probably be maybe more like Evaldi maybe is now. I expect more like Evaldi, maybe Scherzer-esque, like Scherzer when he's healthy performance from Chris Sale as opposed to the 2024 Chris Sale. But then you got Schwellenbach, who I think who just really established himself so well last year in the absence of Spencer Strider. Reynaldo Lopez at the exact same, what would you say, early 1.99 ERA.
Yeah, he pitched incredible.
Right, Ian Anderson is going to be back this year, I think. He, he's nowhere near as good as those other 4 guys, but I think he's solid. Michael Harris, I'm going to say it, defensively, maybe the best center fielder in the game.
Nope.
He can just NL.
Even then, Jackson. Do you know who Jackson Merrill is?
Is he a center fielder? I thought he was left.
Do you know who Don Julio Rodriguez is, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's right.
Amen.
Because I realized you were talking. And then I realized Julio Rodriguez exists.
Even in the end,
top
Jose Siri. Jose Siri.
Fine. Top 5 center
Kevin
fielder.
Kiermaier is retired, still a better center fielder.
That's so real. The only thing Michael Harris has out there that makes him good is his speed.
Michael Harris, dude.
Baby arm.
Yeah.
Michael Harris
cannot throw for crap in center field.
Fine, but I love Michael Harris. I love watching him play.
That's all you have to say. You didn't have to say he's the best center fielder ever.
Not even going to defend him.
Y'all can hate on him all you want. I'm still going to be rolling with my boy Money Mike. I love him. I don't care that Lawrence Butler says he's fat now. I love Michael Harris till the day I die. That's what Lawrence Butler claims. He claims that he's fat now.
So speaking of which, Lawrence Butler, dog,
he's
MVP
a dog.
voting, him, 16 home runs in the second half, like a king.
Dude, Lawrence Butler is going to be. I think he is. I think he's a real dark horse for something this year.
Literally a dark horse, very dark skinned.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be an exciting year. Any other final thoughts from the boys?
I'm happy that baseball's back. It's good to be back.
Amen.
Can't wait, man. So close.
Yep.
Thursdays can't come close. Can't come any sooner.
Yep.
That's real.
All right. Anybody wanna plug something on here?
Follow me on Twitter, or X, I guess it is now. I forget what the @ was. I need to come prepared next time. Oh yeah, here it is. Follow me on Twitter at Grady from DTPOD. Just quick little plug there.
I would just like to plug. Fall in love with baseball because it's a very fun game.
He beat me. He had to top me.
Don't worry. Just have fun, man. Being a baseball fan is so fun. That's all I'd like to plug.
It's the best sport ever created. Same thing here.
Enjoy Shohei Ohtani. Enjoy him, man. These players don't come around.
Enjoy baseball's return to being a really just genuinely popular sport. Because we won't be allowed to discuss it next episode. Because we won't be allowed to discuss the next episode because we're banning Shohei Ohtani from being mentioned in episode 2.
That's why I had to say it.
Dude, Shohei Ohtani being in Fortnite might be the biggest thing for baseball in a while in terms of things happening outside.
Okay, bro, end it here. End it here.
No, here's the thing, because that shows a massive shift in where baseball is within the culture. Like for things baseball related happening outside of baseball.
I think it's just genius marketing.
It is huge.
You're not seeing Mike Trout in Fortnite.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Mike Trout didn't get into Fortnite. Ronald Acuna didn't get into Fortnite. Barry Bonds ain't in Fortnite.
Barry Bonds isn't even in MLB The Show, so that's not even
Yeah, dude.
If you can't get into the MLB licensed main video game, there's no way you're getting into Fortnite.
Aaron Judge ain't in Fortnite. Juan Soto ain't in Fortnite.
Shohei Ohtani. But Aaron Judge has a Prime flavor, right? So, drink Prime.
You gotta work on that Prime sponsorship for us.
Yeah. I'll email him. Trust. I got you. I'll send emails.
That would be bad. You know the lore behind that one.
We'd make a ton of money though. Oh, I do know the
we
lure
make a ton of.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
Oh man, that's a deep callback.
Evan has
that
a
will
really
not be getting
really
posted
funny
anywhere.
clip of him trying Prime. I don't know if
The
it's
very
still
first
up on his
time.
Twitch, but it was.
Oh no,
it was funny.
it's still out there. I showed it to some guys that I was rooming with this week.
Yeah. Well.
No, yeah, it still exists. I will not be telling y'all where to find it, and if you try to say it, I will be bleeping it.
Oh. Okay.
But I will not be telling where you'll find it. If you find it, lucky you, and unlucky me. But I think it's great that he has reached this point of just stardom where he is worthy of that. I mean, you think about it. I mean, look at the other athletes that are in there.
If you can
Patrick
read
Mahomes.
binary, I just told you where you can find it through my blinks.
You know binary?
I do.
That is so nerdy. I love it. I think that's incredible.
No, yeah, but that's the level of LeBron James, like Messi, and like
No,
like
we do not speak of LeBron James on this podcast.
God, I love LeBron James.
I
Don't
do
get me
too.
started.
He doesn't deserve the trash level of player that Shohei Ohtani is compared to my king LeBron.
like dude,
Like
it's
this
great
is
to see.
LeBron, and like Ohtani's like not like off screen. LeBron is him.
enough
Ohtani is
championships.
closer to you and I than he is to LeBron.
That's amen. Amen to that.
All right.
The Ohtani glaze is insane.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say that's where I'm at with that. Just exciting to see baseball. Baseball's back, not just for 2025.
And
but
backyard
it's back in the
baseball's
culture.
coming back too.
That is true.
It already
That is
came
true.
back. I have it downloaded.
There we go. Yeah, baseball's
Hey.
back, man.
Shout out just to baseball in general. It's back.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week talking the Central. That's all we've got for you this week. We out of here. See y'all later.